Hey everyone, we're here on our final part of the security with Java on Azure Container Apps. And today we're going to be discussing monitoring and responding to security threats. So definitely go back if you haven't and go look at the series. We touched on introduction to security best practices. We went through network security and setting up using virtual networks. We looked at managing access and identity with Azure Entra ID. We recently went through securing data with Azure Key Vault and end-to-end encryption. And today we're going to look like monitoring and responding to security threats. But I want to introduce you to the triangle of awesomeness, which is the monitoring funnel. Now, normally when you're handling a threat, you're going to really be monitoring, you're going to be ingesting logs, and you're going to feed the funnel with raw data from Azure Container Apps. And you're going to use Azure Monitor and Log Analytics, and you can really try to look at visibility to starting with comprehensive monitoring across all workloads. But once you have that, you don't want to rely on a individual or a single process. You want to go into threat detection. And that's where you want to have a little bit more automation. Now, Microsoft Defender and Sentinel detect the threats using analytics, rules, and machine learning. And the detection really sets the stage for swift, informed action. The next part of the triangle is the prioritization, and that's really creating alerts. Now, this is where Microsoft Sentinel comes into really play, and it aggregates the signals, so the information that you get, prioritizes the risks, and then triggers playbooks. So you can perform certain actions. You want to reduce the noise and highlight what matters most. After that, we've got the automation with what I mentioned, the playbooks. Now you've got those playbooks, and Sentinel is going to respond using, you could use logic apps or procedures to contain threats and notify the teams. Hey, we want to tell them automation and has actually alerted people to an issue. And then automation brings the gap between detection and action. The next one we have is recovery. So you want to be able to make sure that your security team steps in for containment. Hey, we've got an issue over here. Eradication and recovery. This is where the risk is truly mitigated. And then after that, you want to learn from what happened though. So you want to feed back into your analytics and response processes, and you want to build resilience through feedback and iteration. Now, I love this triangle because this structure works because it represents filtering and refinement and takes the raw telemetry, narrows it into actionable incidents, and the detection to response progression reinforces the key insights. So the of detection without response is only awareness. Now, the automation and human response blends shows modern SecOps, so security operations philosophy, which is proactive and reactive. You want to mix the two of them. And we're going to be looking at some tools today in the session that mixes proactive and reactive. And then obviously the final layer with the feedback, you want to align with cyber resilience adapting over time. So in the next screen here, this is the classic first part of the funnel, which is your Azure Monitor, and it is the log ingestion and monitoring. This is Azure Monitor. You can see here I've got my application. This is a previous example that we did there, and I can see, wait a second, I can see the performance. I can see if there's any issues here, and this is the business as usual. You can also go through and drill down to see exceptions in your containers, and you can see end-to-end transaction details. We also have the ability to see the flow, the user flows here. You can see here, I've got the auth set up there, and I can go all the way through with your standard application insights though. If I have an issue, I can run a runbook here. Over here, it's, okay, cool. Is the person able to authenticate? If not, you can test it over there and you can simulate experiences here. But what about security alerts? Now we're already in the bottom, one level down from the first monitoring there. And here I've got a security alert. So there's been 2,100 failed attempts. And this is where Microsoft Defender actually steps in. So you can see here, Defender for Cloud, and we've got 2,100 failed log attempts here. And this, it's going to just shut down certain resources or stop them from being able to do that. Suspected brute force attack attempt. And this is switched on by default. You don't really have to worry about it. And Defender is kind of automated as nice though. We also have with advisor. So if you go into your container apps and you click on the advisor recommendations, so the advisor is part of the Microsoft Defender portfolio. And over here, you can see the Microsoft advisor says, whoa, you've got some security risks there. You've got your container images in the Azure registry should have vulnerability findings resolved. And you can drill down to that. And then also in the you can see the use premium tier for critical production workloads, and it gives you the ability to go into the container and say, wait, am I secure? I want to show you in the demo exactly how to do that. We also have, if you drill down here, look at those. It gives you all the CVEs, critical vulnerabilities for my container registries here, and it tells you, okay, cool, go in there. These are the risks that you have here, fix available, and you can drill down into your code, into your container. It's scanning the container itself to say there's a critical vulnerability here. If you want to also, you can log your own issues here. So this is Microsoft Sentinel, and in there, I've taken all the logs from my container app, and I've funneled them into Microsoft Sentinel. And for example, here, I've said here, low memory. It's the low memory issue here. And I've identified here, I've gone into that and like, whoa, the heap memory for a container app running Java is actually pretty low though. They only gave me 1 gigabyte of memory. And if you know Java developers, we like a lot of memory here. So you can go into Microsoft Sentinel, and if it hasn't picked up the incident, it can actually log its own incident. You can go in there and log your own incident yourself though. You can see there, I've got the bookmark and I've gone in there on the log and I've actually logged it myself though. We also have the ability to go in and create schedule rules there. And one of the rules that I really love is log for shell. It's one of the critical vulnerabilities that affected a lot of Java projects here. And you can see there, I've got those rules running now on log for shell. And I've got an automated response, and you can set up rule logic there with Microsoft Sentinel though. So before we go into the final bit here, I've got a nice little demo that I've got here. So I'm going to go into my, let's go into here. So this is Azure Monitor. So I've got a few setups here. So this is Azure Monitor, and I've got it looking at a container app. And I can click on, whoa, there's the indexer. And this is one of those examples that I showed previously that goes in and takes some documents, pops them, and then you can have a chat about your documents. And you can click through here, and you can say, whoa, there's get all set up, and I can click through the performance. And this is really manual. This is proactive versus reactive here. And I can click through there, and there's 10 samples of exactly what the operation is. And I can click through and say, wait, did this or did this not create a vulnerability? Was there a security issue with it there? And if I wanted to, I can actually go in and copy this and say, well, now I can go log an issue if I wanted to with that though. So that's the first thing. That's the, okay, Rory's going to go monitor. But what about the other one here? The next is I want to get all my logs ready for me. And this is my logs here. This is the log analytics workspace. So let's just hit a refresh here. And it's a reload here. Now, this is my container apps that I've got. So I've taken all of the container, the container apps logs, the system logs and the console logs, and I've just put them into my log analytics workspace. And I can go query them here. So if I wanted to go, and I can go to my query here, and it gives me all of the, I can go into the queries tab here. I can even go into containers and database. So if I go into containers here, it's very much average CPU growth, and I can run through here. And this gives me the ability with log analytics. Let's just close that here. You can see here's my the last logs that there we go. The console logs. This is my console logs that I've got for my indexer. So if you remember in one of the sessions there, we index some documents in a container app, and I can actually go in there and I can look at the logs, and I can log a issue if I wanted to here. But I will log issue to where? Now I want to log it into Microsoft Sentinel. Now I already logged it into Microsoft Sentinel. So I've got, oh wow, low memory. I can go into information, And now I can actually say, wait, what's going on here? Let's make that a little bit nicer to see here. Oh, wait, there's an incident overview, and I can see, wait a second, view the full details. Now I've got the Microsoft Sentinel, I've got low memory here, and I can say, wait, I've bookmarked the logs here. And it's as simple as going into logs here and selecting the table like we did there, the console logs, and I can just run that in there and I go, whoa, low memory, security issue here. And I can go, okay, cool, add there, add the bookmark. And now I've got another bookmark against the issue that I've got here. And I can run, if you see here, I can go create here. I can run tasks and also playbooks once I've actually done this. And this is your DevSecOps 101, though, that you've got a team there that is running against that, going and querying the logs, and also ensuring that you've got everything sorted. Okay, so let's just make sure that we haven't missed a screen here. I think I've already covered that over here. And yeah, so what about, oh, I know what I haven't covered here. What about those issues, Rory, you showed me where it says that the container isn't really running the right libraries? Now that's inventory here. And now I've got my resources. I want to make sure that my resource group is only on the resource group that I want to demo here. So there's my resources. Now I've got my resource group here, and here's all my container apps here. And it says, wait, there's an issue here. There's some unhealthy issues here. So where's that indexer here? I can click through there on the indexer, and it can actually give me the resource health using the Microsoft Defender. And it says here, container images should have vulnerabilities solved. And it goes, okay, cool. What's my vulnerability? It'll actually tell me exactly what it is. And there, and total finding 16. Oi, what am I supposed to do here? And it's going to say, okay, cool. You can assign owner and set the date. You can make it exempt, or you can trigger a logic app. You can go in and fix it yourself. Wait, maybe it's just a dependency that I need to find. And you can go to findings here, and let's just see what we have here. It's probably an old dependency here. There we go, installed version, and it's using an old version of Netty. And I can go there, trigger a logic app, and make sure that I've got it. So we've showed you all of the funnel here. We showed you log and mentoring with using application insights and log analytics. And then we've slowly drilled down to the point that we have feedback even. We can actually feedback to say everything's either been automated or we need to improve our process. Finally, I want to give you some nice little go home links here. So let's go into the PowerPoint slides here. And let's go into here. So I want to remind you, go in and check our ref cards for Java application and containerization and deployment. And if you haven't, go to the apps documentation that touches on a lot of the security features I've just mentioned here. And then finally, if you want to see the on-demand, we just finished JDConf. We had thousands of individuals dialing in. Go to aka.ms/JDConf. I'm Rory Preddy. This has been the last of the series here, and I will really wish that you use the funnel to be able to funnel down to all the way down to the last part where you are secure using Azure Container Apps with Java, and also using the methodologies I've showed you. Cheers, everyone.